Good morning, everybody. My name is Tom Devereux. I'm speaking to you from the chapel of Sacred Heart Community House in Quex Road. Today we celebrate the 27th Sunday of the year, and the Gospel of the day is from the Gospel of St. Matthew, the story of the vineyard of the Lord. So I'd like to read the Gospel first to you, and then a little reflection afterwards. Jesus said to the chief priests and the elders, "Listen to another parable. There was a landowner who planted a vineyard, put a fence around it, dug a wine presser and built a watchtower. Then he leased it to tenants and went off to another country. When the harvest time had come, he sent his slaves to the tenants to collect his produce. But the tenants seized his slaves and beat one, killed another, and stoned another. Again he sent other slaves, more than the first, and they treated them in the same way. Finally he sent his son, saying, 'They will respect my son.' But when the tenants saw the son, they said to themselves, 'This is the heir. Come on, let us kill him and get his inheritance.' So they seized him, threw him out of the vineyard and killed him. Now when the owner of the vineyard comes, what will he do to those tenants?" They said to him, "He will put those wretches to a miserable death, and lease the vineyard to other tenants who were given the produce at the harvest time." Jesus said to them, "Have you never read in the scriptures, 'The stone that the builders rejected has become the cornerstone'? This was the Lord's doing, and it's amazing in their eyes. Therefore I tell you, the kingdom of God will be taken away from you and given to a people that produces its fruit." So we're all familiar with the story. I just want to kind of look at different little parts of today. The use of the land and how we use the land and the use of the products of the land. We're asked to be caretakers of the land, our common home, and to be producers of good fruit. I always remember back to an experience I had many years ago. I was doing a retreat in Aix-en-Provence as part of the Demasonate experience that we called. And I was based at the time for the retreat in a house called Notre Dame de Lumière, which had a vineyard there. It was my first experience of seeing a vineyard up close and watching the vines being tended. It was quite warm and hard work because you had to go along to every vine and take care of it. But we see how that if we take care of things, the difference it makes in our lives. Sadly though, we live in a time where there's a lot of injustice which leads to desperation leading to violence, and violence leading to more violence. So the Lord is asking us to take care and respect both the land and ourselves. Because we see what happened here. There was no respect for the land, there was no respect for the person who owned the land, or no respect for his slaves who tended the land. These tenants just abused everything. And yesterday we had a little session on abuse of children and minors and adults. Sadly, part of the experience of the church. A very sad experience. And we as priests and deacons and bishops of the church are asked to show extra vigilance at this time and in the future as well. Another part of Sunday is also the feast of the St. Francis of Assisi. And here in Quex Road we're going to have blessing of animals and pets. Something that we've never done before, so it should be interesting to see how it works out. Father Terry, Father Johnson and myself blessing the animals, a quick blessing over them, like the example of St. Francis. It's also known as the end of the season of creation, which has been a month of prayer and thought about creation itself, and how we're asked to take care of that. I was visiting my brother the other day out in Aylesbury. He's over from Ireland. And I couldn't help but be struck by the wonder colours of this time, colours of nature, changing, it's autumnal colours. And just as I was driving on the motorway, I was very aware of the colours. I'd love to have been able to paint it, but obviously couldn't when I'm driving. But these are the things we think about over these days. So we ask you to pray for respect for each person and also respect for the land and the properties that we have around us. So take care, God bless, and look forward to seeing you again in the near future.